this is the body cream. Look at them. They're so cutie patootie. Oh my gosh, what is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to actually sit down this time and get cozy and comfy together, which, let me get my blanket. I have so many of them. This is my nap couch, which I love so dearly. Okay, get cozy, get cozy, get cozy. I know you're probably in bed or something like that, either waking up or going to sleep. Love it, let me know. I didn't want to vlog today. It was a super chill day. All I did was clean up the house and edit and just get things together. Got some dinner and I'm bloated and comatose. So I figured the best way to go about this Vlogmas, because I told you guys that I wanted to actually sit down in a video rather than be on the move, which the last one I was very much so on the move. That was to just plant myself on the ground and actually chat with you guys. So I asked you guys on my story today to give me some questions to answer about 2024. So I know you see the Salani. Are you curious about what time it is while I'm filming this? 10:02. We don't have to talk about it. My goal was to make it to 6 videos and I can't do that. So I'm actually very proud. But afterwards, we're just gonna take it how it comes, okay? Because this weekend I'm gonna be getting a child, so things are just gonna be different, and that's okay. And I really appreciate you guys just hanging with me and bearing with me and enjoying Vlogmas for what it is in terms of Libmas. Let's get started on these questions. 2024 was literally a crazy year. I want to do a full recap video, so for now, I just want to answer the questions that you guys had for me. I did get a new package of Winter Wonderland. This just restocked on the Alani site if y'all want to get some for yourself. I do this with every single Alani that I open. I record it. Little ASMR. Ooh, that was a good one. We're starting with a big one. How do you stay so happy / giddy? I need advice, grief advice. Grief is a hard one because it never actually leaves and it's like a forever thing. And I feel like there's different forms of grief. There's different forms of depression, which I've talked about before. The way that A Bad Day So Luxury even came about years and years ago was very much so centered around grief and just coping with it and trying to understand life for what it was at that time. There's no way to perfectly go through grief or to bring it with you in anything that you do. To get through grief, you don't necessarily get rid of it or absolve yourself of the feeling of grief. Instead, you just learn to bring it with you, put it in your pocket. How do I maintain being happy? I think that it is a blessing to wake up every single day, and I think that perspective is everything. And when you can understand that a bad day is still a luxury, even on your worst days, your shittiest days, it just speaks volumes. Just be able to be where your feet are, to acknowledge the fact that no matter how hard a day can be, you still had a chance to wake up, even if you don't want to, okay? And we do every single day. And it's, honestly, when you're going through grief or you're going through depression, I think that it's the constant battle of like choosing to be here, most macro and micro way. Like choosing to be here is a big choice, and choosing to live another day and go through another day and experience another day, it feels like a very large burden, but it's also one of the easiest decisions that we make upon waking up. In the book that I was reading, Don't Believe Everything You Think, it talks a lot about thoughts versus thinking. Like thoughts are fleeting and thinking is something that you're dwelling on, if that makes sense. I think in general, making the conscious choice to still be here speaks a lot, and I feel like we are never alone in how we feel. The idea that I am always happy is crazy. I think that I am a positive person because I enjoy being here and I'm happy to be alive. I think that it's very much a choice to see the good and to allow the good to affect you rather than letting negative things cloud your mental. Okay, there's a boy here. This boy's sleeping over at my house. Okay, what are my goals for 2025? I'm terrified of this because if you had asked me in 2023 what my goals were for 2024, I think that buying a house was like the top priority, and I was able to do that in 2024, which was crazy. I'm gobsmacked. I think that maybe 2025, I have achieved so much and I don't take it for granted whatsoever. I think that I have been in grind mode for years now, and even this year is the first year that we're in the house and it hasn't even been a full year yet. I think that my goal, like my number one top goal, is to like enjoy everything that has got me to where I am now, because I don't think that I've given myself time to slow down and actually sit in all of the blessings and all of the accomplishments that I've made. And I feel like I've talked about this time and time again, where I just let things pass me by no matter how large they are, and I don't speak on them before them happening because I don't want them to be tainted or anything like that, or to not happen, because the power of the tongue is crazy. So I try to speak life about things to myself and like in my own little circle until after something has happened, and then I kind of feel like the moment for it is over, even though it's not. I think that my goal for myself, I would love to expand Libby Christensen as a business, of course, and as a brand, which that's always a constant driver. But I also feel like 2025, I want to be able to like soak in in, really feel all of the things that I've worked for to get here. I want to just slow the hell down, allow myself to not feel anxious if I don't accomplish one task, to not be angry with myself if I like take an extra nap or if I sleep in longer than I want. I've worked for so long and I've worked so hard. Like the capacity at which I've worked, I don't think is human, which I am very motivated by that. But I want to slow it down. I would like to enjoy everything that I've received and everything that I have now, because I don't think that I've given myself time to do so. We also don't get to take any of this with us, so I might as well enjoy it while I'm here. Is this what you do full time? How did I start? Oh my gosh, yes. Maybe you're new here. Oh my gosh, it's so wild to me to know that people are finding me now, and I've been doing this for 8 years, but it's so cool that I get new viewers and new people that find me, and I'm like, that's so insane, because I feel like I've just grown up with my audience, which you guys know I say this all the time. This is my full-time job. Social media has been my full-time job for 4 years now, where I've been able to fully monetize on social media, but I have been doing social media and just been online since I was 12 years old. I just feel like the internet has raised me. It's very cool to me now that I'm able to just share my life, and I feel like I just go about social media in a way that is just different than a lot of the creators that you guys see. Not that I don't love them and admire them and value them so much, but I do think that I just have brought you guys along with me through life so organically. It's not like Libby just popped up and she's trying to sell you on X, Y, and Z. I feel like I've brought you guys along with me through my entire journey. So nothing I do is super like, oh wow, this is so unexpected, because you guys know me. I'm literally just sitting in my living room with my little Christmas lights on, and I'm just talking to my friends. I think I also just underestimate the magnitude of people that I reach and people that I touch and talk to every single day, because I kind of keep my life right here. It seems huge, it seems so big, but I honestly, like, I drive home, I come inside, I shower, I get in my cozies, and I do the same thing, and then I wake up and go to the gym. I just get to take you guys along for it, and I feel like this is like, if there was a blueprint to life, I feel like I've just documented the way that Libby has blueprinted and lived her life in such an organic way. Like, I've brought you guys with me for everything. To answer the second part of this question is, I literally have just shared my life. I've just documented it. Obviously, I do the majority of the fitness content, but I also feel like I bring so much lifestyle and just like growing up in your early 20s, now mid 20s. And I've just brought you through the journey of life as Libby. Literally keeping up with a Christensen is what this is. Oh my gosh, the age-old question. Are you going to be competing in bodybuilding? Listen, I don't know. I do not know. I don't know. I haven't given it much thought. I feel like I am always told that I should by people that I very much so respect in the fitness industry. And I have never been somebody that really understood bodybuilding. I would see it online and I would be like, oh, that's cool. Like, I get it, but I've never given it thought in the way where it's like, oh, I need to do this. I'm a very competitive person, and if I do start something, I will complete it. So I feel like I have to just convince myself, if I wanted to do that, I know I could. But I know that it's a large mental load. It's a large physical load, obviously. And I don't know if that's the journey for me. I wouldn't say never, but I also don't know when that time would be. It's a sport. We will see. I do find it interesting though, and I think a lot of people obviously ask if I will ever compete because genetically I just look engineered, which I'm not unaware of. A lot of it is genetics, obviously, but she does work hard in the gym. You guys have seen this. You see the proof. I do think it's interesting, and part of me is like, oof, I just got to do it one time for the one time to see what like this genetic makeup is capable of. Side quest of that, my birth mom was a bikini competitor, which I didn't find that out until a few years ago. And then my birth dad was an all-star track athlete, and it just made so much sense as to like Libby being Libby, because you guys know the only sport that I really did growing up aside from volleyball was track, and I ran the 400, 200, 400, 4x4, did long jump. It just made so much sense as to why I look the way I do, and I feel like as somebody who was adopted and not knowing so much about my birth family and their lives and all of that, finding that out was like insane to me, and so it just made sense. I don't know, something just clicked. My biggest 2025 goal, you guys are asking so much about this. I think that it's really hard for me to answer that right now because I'm somebody that is very driven, and I will set out on a journey to accomplish whichever goal that I have told myself I will accomplish, and I don't have the lack of drive. I think that right now I'm struggling to pinpoint like a super big goal because I have a lot of small goals, but I think just like being being able to provide for myself and the people around me is the biggest goal that I could achieve. And being able to do that just by living my life and being me and having the audience that I do and you guys showing up for me, that like supersedes any type of goal that I could ever want. I don't know. I feel like I could be like, oh, I want to buy another car. I want to buy an investment property. I want to start this business. But honestly, like the things that matter to me are not really materialistic. Like I said, we can't take any of this with us. My biggest goal, I feel like, has always just been to just impact people positively, like in my in-person life and also online. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just want to leave a good impact. That's all. That's really it. One thing that brought you imposter syndrome this year, oh my gosh. This is a question for a 2024 recap, but definitely one thing that brought me imposter syndrome was the fact that, one, I became a homeowner. Hello. Two, I think going to the White House. What was I doing at the White House? What was I doing at the White House? That was crazy. That wasn't even long ago. I think that was in October. Being invited to the White House was actually astronomically wild and wild bananas, bananarama crazy. I feel like that was something that was so insane. And for me, I feel like I'm on Instagram scrolling, like seeing another person go to the White House, not even knowing that that was my own experience. And I like vlogged it and I was there and I walked those halls. That was crazy. And I feel like that will not settle into my soul for a very long time. I just have to laugh about it because now that I was at the White House, this is a good one. Tips for new homeowners that you didn't know. I really didn't know a damn thing about buying a home. Everything is a tip, in my opinion. I just knew that I wanted to own my own house. I will tell you a couple of reasons why I wanted to do that. Let me run it back. Both of my parents live in apartments now. I grew up in the house that my parents built and lived there for 18 years. Did not know another home. My sister and dad moved out when we were like 10, I would say, so my mom and I lived in that house. That house has so many memories. Essentially, we ended up losing the house, but that house is my house, and I think that I have an attachment to like home, if that makes sense. This can get so deep, and let's see how deep I want to take it. I lived in the same house my entire life. When my dad and sister moved, I was like very much hyper independent, very much solo. Found technology when I was young. I literally bought my first iPod Touch, and that is when like social media became a thing to me, before it was ever actually a thing. Well, my mom is a chronically ill parent. If you grew up with a chronically ill parent, especially if it was a one-parent household, you understand what it's like to just be hyper independent. Like I call myself Matilda because I just figured everything out on my own. I was working by myself at 14. Even through all of that, what I had was the stability of our home until we didn't. And when I moved out and I went to college, my mom, literally we lost our house that same year. So my mom moved to a completely different state. My home was Kansas. People would go back for Thanksgiving. Ew, whoa, we're not getting emotional. People would go back for Thanksgiving and they would go back for Christmas. And as soon as I left at 18 to go to college in a different city, I didn't have that home to return to because keep in mind, my dad and sister had already moved years prior. My mom now moved out of the house that I was raised in. And so I lacked that idea of home because my family has always been very spread out. While we're a close-knit family, we're always very all over the map, if that makes sense. So I think for me, owning a home at its core was like something that I could claim for myself. And like nobody can take that from me. Nobody can rock my world with it because it's Libby's. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think that gap in not having a home to go home to and then meeting JJ and we made do for all of these years, like that was such a big thing for me. And I think now just being done with the renting process, one, because Bronx, he's a pit bull, and just trying to do that was just hell. And then once we moved to Texas, I was like, I'll never live in Texas. We eventually moved to Houston. God essentially put us here, I would say, because there was no reason for us to move to Houston of all places. Honestly, like a tip for homeowners that I would say is make sure that you have a resource that's reliable. I will say my friend Ari, my realtor, my girl, she mommed me because I can't ask my parents a lot of questions, I feel like, about the homeownership process and all about all of that and building a house in 2024 because they live in apartments. And I feel like that's part of the journey that's just very isolating, especially when you're young and don't have your parents to ask every single question about life to, especially like buying a house at age 25, 26. A solid support system is everything, not even like monetarily, but just people that support you in your journey, making sure that you are prepared for whatever may come your way. That I mean financially, that I mean just for yourself in general. It's a long process, but also you have to be patient with yourself because we've lived here for almost a year now. Is this place fully furnished? No. But is it livable and is it something that I'm creating to be exactly what I want? Yes. Oh, also, one tip about owning a home, they love to sell your loan. They love to sell your loan. And I feel like I already knew about this because of student loans. All these loan servicers that will just sell them to somebody else, insane. Constantly. Do you see yourself staying in Houston for a long period of time? This is a really great question. I feel like it kind of ties into the previous one. Really do enjoy Houston. I am from Kansas, born and raised. I don't think that I plan to live in Houston for the rest of my life, but I can see myself being here for a few years, if that makes sense. The tea about Skims, I need to know what's a smash and what's a pass to add to my list. You ask me anything about Skims, I got you covered. This is a Skims onesie. My favorite pieces are all of the sweat sets. The cotton fleece are incredible. You guys see me with them in every single color. Otherwise, I love the cotton tee. The cotton jersey is what it's called. It's like the cap sleeve tops. A lot of it is like simple basics, which I live for. Other than that, the soft smoothing seamless is my tried and true favorite. I love Skims pajamas as well. Don't sleep on the boyfriend tees. Don't sleep on the boxers. I live for Skims. I truly, truly do. What do you think and want your life to look like in 5 years? Oh my gosh, I feel like this answer can change on a dime for me. In 5 years, I'll be 27 next month. Gagged, that's crazy. I'm literally 12, like help me. I'll be like 32. I would have said like 2 years ago if you asked me this, like I hope I own a home. Like I've done that, which is crazy, and I'm here now, and I'm beyond grateful, thankful, and blessed to be here. I want God to be a big part of my life as always, because without him, none of this would be possible at all. You guys, I want to be a mom so bad, and I know that the right time for that will come, and I don't know when it'll be. I do feel like it'll be within the next 5 years, but I just know that that will be my favorite journey of life forever. I know. Ew, I could cry about it. I can't wait for that day. The day that I get the title of a mother. Cut it. That'll be the greatest day ever. So I hope within the next 5 years, whether I adopt a kid, I don't know what it'll be. Otherwise, I don't know. I feel like I've got so much out of life. Like I'm so happy with life. I just want to have a great group of friends. I just want to have great family around me. I want to be successful. I want to be financially stable. I want to be financially free. I just want to be happy. Like that's what I think and want out of life. And I think just like having a routine and having good people around me and having God first, that will give me the life that I want. Like, cause I'm living that now. Oh my gosh, my Spotify Wrapped is literally all Rod Wave, and also I don't use Spotify, and also I use Apple Music, and also I don't even make playlists. If you ever want to know what I'm listening to, go to my Bob's highlight on Instagram. If you wake up at 4 a.m., when do you go to sleep to have sufficient good nights of sleep? That is such a great question. I would say like 9:30, 10:30 between that. What did I do for work prior to becoming a full-time content creator? So, like I said, I started social media when I was 12, but I was able to go full-time with social media when I think I was 23, something like that. During all of that, I was a full-time student. I graduated, which you guys saw. I went to junior college first, and then I went to the University of Kansas, did my school online because I was a Panorama graduate, which we loved. I had typical college jobs, so I worked on campus, was a manager at a meal prep company. Prior to that, I was an assistant manager at a meal prep company. And then my last job before I actually left, I was a cashier at Sprouts. Yes, I was a Sproutie, which I love. How do I stay focused? Oh my gosh, you're talking to the queen of never being focused. I do force myself to be focused. I have ADHD, which we all know that I was diagnosed with, which we didn't need a diagnosis, babe. We knew that. OCD and ADHD, which they combat each other a lot of the time. My brain, it is a very large brain. That's why my forehead is so big, I'm convinced. I am the queen of time blocking. I am the queen of a to-do list to stay on track with my tasks. I have to write things down or else I will forget about them. The thing with having OCD and ADHD is that they fight each other, because I don't have OCD where I like have to tap things a million times or a specific number of times, but things need to be done in a specific way or I cannot move past them. Thing that sucks about the OCD being like that and then ADHD coming in is that I will lose track of where I'm at mentally, and I will get distracted, and I'll be doing 19 other tasks while I'm supposed to be finishing one, and it's very debilitating. So I really run on a strict schedule of this is what my to-do list is. this has to be done and I have this much time to do it. Routine is everything to me. That is how I can thrive, and that's how I feel like you guys think that I have everything together without crashing out, because I don't have the option not to, because nothing will get done. And then that also contributes to my insane amounts of anxiety, which you guys know that I got prescribed medication for. Took it for a little bit, decided, you know what, I coped for 24 years without medication, I'm gonna go without. So I'm an unmedicated neurospicy girl. I have my systems and routines in place to help me thrive and survive. My favorite goal that I've accomplished this year would be buying my house. Also, I think it was last year, I paid off in full a private student loan that I had, and that was actually a really big goal of mine as well, because she was a FAFSA girl and she was self-funded in going to college, and still is, and I'm still paying student loans. Am I still taking creatine? If so, which creatine do you use? Yes, I started taking creatine again, I would say a couple of months ago. I think it was towards the end of summer. I took it for an entire year straight, then I went off of it because I was like, what can I do without it? Started taking it again. The gains are insane. I won't lie, I absolutely love creatine and I think anybody can benefit from it. I just got these creatine gummies from Amazon. They're literally called creatine monohydrate gummies. Otherwise, I just use Alani Nutrition's creatine. Do I take any supplements? Yes, greens, creatine, and chlorophyll. That's just what I've done for years now and I absolutely love it. What inspires you? Your content is always so true to your personality. Thank you so much. This came from Lexi and she has been an OG and she's been around for the longest time. Honestly, the idea of just being the better version of me every day, I don't know, I think that the people that show up for me are what inspires me most, and knowing that I do have a good and positive impact on a lot of people really makes me want to keep going. I feel like I'm very much like a vessel for something greater, and I don't know exactly what my purpose is, and I don't know if I'm supposed to ever pinpoint that. You know, when they say that people come into your life for like a reason or a season, you have to like adapt to people entering your life and then adapt to people exiting your life. There was a whole sermon about being able to understand that every single thing that we encounter is something that will come to pass, whether it is a relationship, whether it is an experience, whether it is literally the food that we eat. Everything comes to pass. When people enter your life, we think of it as like, okay, they served their purpose X, Y, and Z, but I also think that we enter other people's life without really knowing it, knowing the impact that we have on them unless they tell us, you know? That inspires me, is knowing that every single person that I come in contact with or every experience that I have like contributes to something else that's bigger than myself. What were you passionate about in 2024 outside of your content? Oh my gosh, this is a really good question. I think that 2024 was a year that I actually broke out of the idea that I like can't leave the house. I think that I very much so found value in relationships and friendships in person, because that feeds your soul in a different way than just interacting over media or over the phone. I was definitely and still am passionate about my in-person relationships and cultivating bonds that are positive and hopefully leaving a lasting impact on people that leaves them like happy that they met me, if that makes sense. Community, that was a big thing for me this year. To end the year, I've been super passionate about self-growth, self-development, and I feel like maybe that's my frontal lobe developing at 25, 26 and just seeing life differently. And I'm not trying to figure it all out, but I feel like I just want to learn me in my 26th year, and I feel like that's been a mission of mine this entire year. Advice for a newbie wanting to start fitness content, want to create content, any advice? I think that people struggle with the idea of being perceived, and I feel like a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, what if somebody from high school sees my content and they judge me? Hard honest truth is the fact you have to let them. Literally, you have to let them. The only way to gain an audience is to give people an opinion of you. People that relate to you will flock to you, and I know that's really difficult to put yourself out there in that way, but I wouldn't have even had the opportunity to tell you guys about this and have this vlog go live if I didn't let you judge me a little bit. Literally start with your phone. You don't need anything super extravagant in order to start making content. I think that it's important to share your story, because you guys are coming back just to see my life unfold essentially, and so am I, girl. That's why I'm showing up. I'm trying to see how this stuff ends. What's the scariest thing about owning a home? I don't know. I feel like it took me a very long time to feel like I wasn't living in an Airbnb. But the scariest thing? Taking on the task and being ready to just go through whatever comes with it. I think that that's scary, but it's also so empowering at the same time. Did 2024 play out the way you expected? No. I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't this. The answer is no. I'm very grateful for everything that has happened in 2024, and I'm so blessed to have lived 2024, but no. I could not have written this in a script. No. The most rewarding slash glass full moments this year, I think being able to give back to my community is like the most rewarding thing to me in general. If you guys have watched my YouTube for any amount of time, you know that for Christmas, all those years ago, I literally ate a peanut butter sandwich and that was it. And now to be in my own house and to have a car that I've bought myself and to be able to adopt families for Christmas and to do angel tree and to do monthly giveaways for you guys and to give back to you monetarily, because that like life does not stop. Like I understand that the bills keep coming. I think coming from a place where I literally ate stale bread and peanut butter on a sandwich for Christmas, and now I have my own tree that's lit up. Like JJ and I have just lived so much life these past years, and I think that the most rewarding moments are like the ones where we can just look back and be like, holy shit, we've been through it all. We've literally done it all. But being able to be in a position where I can give back to people is like the most fulfilling thing to me. Because I know what it's like to just wish that you had like, oh my gosh, I wish I had an extra $100. I wish that I had a new comforter. I wish that I had like a new couch, or I just had new clothes, or had groceries for this week. Those simple things I don't take for granted. I feel like because we've been in that position in the most vivid way. So to be on this side of it, it's the most fulfilling and rewarding thing that we could experience. How do you maintain your confidence? Oh my goodness. I don't know if it's the fact that Libby is just a confident person, but I have to say my parents are like my #1 supporters of everything ever. And for me, I have always been this bubbly, outgoing, like loud, huge personality person. And I think that a lot of times people grow up, not to just fault parents in general, but I think that people grow up in environments and households where they aren't supported in being 100% themselves. And I think that some parents have strict guidelines and have strict rules, and the way that people parent is their business and their business alone. But I do think that that has an impact on children. But for me, I have never had my parents tell me that I am not capable of something. I have only had life spoken into me, and I think that that contributes to why I come across as just a confident person. When the people that raise you and the people that you spend all of your time around only speak to you positively and applaud you for every single thing that you ever do, no matter how silly or goofy it is or how big of a step it is, how big of a dream it is, you don't know anything else but being capable and being confident in your decisions, because it's backed up by applause from your parents and the people that mean the most to you, if that makes sense. So I don't even think it was like a turning point for me. I think that I have always just had support from where it means the most, and I've never been told that I shouldn't feel confident and I shouldn't feel like I'm capable, and I shouldn't feel like I'm that girl. Not in a narcissistic and boastful way, but like my parents have always spoken life into me, and I think that's what instilled confidence in me at a very young age. This has been fun. This has literally been such a chit chat, and it's 11:15 now. Sips more Alani. But I've loved this. This was a cute little Q&A, but I can't wait to sit down with you guys again. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It was fun. It was chill. We're just by the tree. My candle is the fire for now. If you guys have any other comments or questions, put them in the description box, and maybe I'll put them in another Vlogmas and do another segment of this to bounce things off of. I would love to hear your commentary, your opinions and thoughts and all that. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up so I know that you did. Also be sure to subscribe so you guys don't miss a video with me, and you guys can keep up with me every single day on Instagram and TikTok at Libby Christensen, and I will talk to you guys later.